Yeah, quite a few interesting topics that we are going to discuss about tonight. We are just going to focus on planning for retirement. And I also recently wrote a very detailed Instagram post slash Twitter thread about saving and investing your way to 100,000 ringgit by 35, how to realistically achieve it. Yeah, so we'll discuss about the pointers in this session. Next up, the Employees Provident Fund. They've set their basic retirement savings target at 240,000 ringgit. Now, this sum is certainly a huge amount. 240K is not small money, despite a lot of people saying it is very little. But the question arises as to whether it is even enough to retire or not. Okay, so I will show you guys a few different surveys plus a few different studies and conclude whether this amount is enough or not. Okay, this and more in our weekly analysis. As usual, not financial or legal advice. Just a quick shout out to all our current learners and gatherers, our patrons. Yeah, thank you all so much for your support. The Futurists wouldn't be here today without you guys. Okay, allow me to start with Andrew, Wendy, Edward, Alex, CC, Is, Morpheus, Urshad, Caveman Balls, Kelvin Kai, Thien, Tommy, Jinkang, Adrian, Eric, JS Wenyan, Dean, Duhan, Ken, and Faris, as well as all of our learner members as well. So, saving, investing your way to 100,000 ringgit by 35. Yeah, the reason why I decided to write quite a lot about this recently is because I was scrolling through Instagram and I came through quite a few advertisements on specifically this target. Okay, and a lot of these personal blogs, right, they tend to put quite unrealistic age to reach this target. Okay, some of them saying that, oh, we can reach this target by 26, some say 28, some say 30. Okay, and majority of these blogs, right, they include you investing into very risky assets. Okay, like put your money into this mutual fund, right? This mutual fund is projected to earn 8 to 15% per year. Then after like 4 years, you get 100K already. Or put your money into this ETF, so on and so forth. Okay. So I decided to, why not just do some research on how to realistically save your way to 100,000 by 35. So why is this figure so important? Well, aside from being a very satisfying figure, having 100,000 ringgit by 35 can greatly improve your personal finances, pave the way for a comfortable retirement. Now, just now, I did give you guys a hint about the EPF basic savings target of 240,000 ringgit by 55. If you have 100K by 35, you are pretty much settled already. Okay, you will have more or even double than 240,000 when you retire at 55. Okay, so later I'll show you guys the calculations. Fresh grads, on average, they earn a salary of 2.4K per month. Now, this is based on DOSM, the Department of Statistics Malaysia, which totals to about 28,800 per year. And for those people who are just starting their careers, right, reaching 100,000 ringgit is definitely a daunting task. Especially if you look at your current EPF account, you start with zero and you're starting from scratch, right? You'd be like, holy crap, how am I going to reach this such a significant amount? Okay, and this fear, right, of not reaching this goal only compounds as you age, because many people they tend to believe that it's too late to achieve such a significant amount. Yeah, as a result, the majority of them just don't save. They just give up entirely and just say that, oh, I'm already 33 this year. It's too late for me. Let me just spend whatever I can earn. Okay, then they'll never reach this goal, and they'll probably never reach the million ringgit like a lot of people want to retire as a millionaire. Okay, but how much does it realistically take to achieve 100,000? Well, let's say you start work at the age of 24, you earn 2.4K salary. Okay, within 11 years, okay, which is by 35, you'll reach this goal if you set aside roughly 600 ringgit. And that amount, you invest it into an asset that compounds 5% annually. Okay, so 5% annually is really very a steady return. It's not too high. It's quite decent. Okay, if you're talking about 8, 9, 10%, then that goes into a bit of the unrealistic territory already. Okay, so um, your employer is already doing the majority of the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so do not listen to those people trying to claim that 9 to 5 is bad for you. Yeah, climbing the corporate ladder is not a healthy thing. Okay, it's only not healthy if you deem your current job as a complete waste of time. Your employer is exploiting you. Then you may want to consider different employers. Okay, but 9 to 5 comes with its own set of benefits. Okay, and the first biggest benefit is that your employer is really contributing a lot to your retirement savings. Okay, take a look at this chart over here, salary of 2.4K per month. Self-contribution, you're required to contribute about 11% of your salary. That adds up to about 264 ringgit per month. Your employer is contributing 13% of your salary. Now, this is by law. They're supposed to pay 312 ringgit per month to your EPF account. So the total mandatory contribution by default is already 576 ringgit per month. Okay, so therefore your contribution required to reach 100,000 by 35, you would only need to top up an additional 12 ringgit. Okay, now I understand. Once I put out this figure, right, a lot of people do not read the next tweet or the next picture. They tend to say that, hey, for me to save 600 ringgit per month, I'm a fresh grad, is completely unrealistic. Okay, but that's why you must factor in employer and employee contributions. When you factor in that, then this target of reaching 100,000 by 35 is certainly much more achievable. Yeah, so what if I'm older? Yeah, what if you are no longer at the golden age of 24, 25? Okay, you can see this chart over here. The number of years, the minimum contribution required significantly increases as the number of years decreases. Okay, this is because the power of compounding works very well with time. Okay, so those people who start earlier, right, they have a much greater advantage. Okay, so go back today after this talk. Don't think that it's too late. Okay, if you're planning for retirement, the most perfect time is to start right now. Okay, you look at these numbers, and then you look at the number of years to save and invest to 100,000. You set your goals accordingly, and then you just top up the difference. Okay, you're factoring in your employer contributions as well. See if you meet this minimum contribution per month or not. Okay, which is honestly not too much commitment. Okay. So how to achieve this goal faster? Okay, let's say you're above 30 already, you're a bit guilty, you don't have this 100K, you're not on your way to 100K yet. Well, if you're currently employed, you have salary increments as well as bonuses. These are golden opportunities to contribute even more to your investments. Okay, so I'll give you a quick example over here. So assuming that you start off with 588 per month, okay, and then uh, after each year, you increase the deposit amount by 10%. So 588 the second year, 588 plus 10%, then so on and so forth. After 11 years, right, by the age of 35, you will have 165,000 ringgit. Yeah, this is significantly higher than your initial goal of 100,000 ringgit by the age of 35. Okay, so whenever you have any opportunity, you receive any additional amount, okay, do think properly whether you want to contribute to your future retirement or not. Or if you're scared that you cannot withdraw the money out early, you can also put it into fixed deposits, other investment options such as cash apps, so on and so forth. Okay, you don't necessarily have to lock up all your money for your future retirement savings. So where to get steady returns? I think you guys already know the answer, like EPF. Past 14 years, average returns per year is 6%. So it's quite decent. And so 240,000 ringgit is the minimum amount to retire. So here's where I'm getting to, right? Okay. The reason why 100,000 ringgit by the age of 35 is so important is because you will have more than this amount, which is the basic savings target that EPF set back in 2019. So read this report over here, Employees Provident Fund. They increased the basic savings target from 228,000 ringgit to 240,000 ringgit effective January 2019. So now this amount is considered sufficient to support members' basic needs for 20 years upon retirement from the age of 55 to 75, also aligned with Malaysia's current life expectancy. So if you do a quick Google search on how long Malaysians are expected to live, right, you will come up on a figure of like 75.94 last I checked. Okay. And 240,000 ringgit, you divide it across 20 years, that only nets you about 1,000 ringgit per month. So honestly, 1,000 ringgit per month is not really enough to live lah. Okay, but let's just stick with this figure first, and let's really analyze whether this amount is sufficient or not. I'll show you guys some data. So 1,000 ringgit per month, enough to retire really, according to inflation calculator from Dawson. Basket of goods and services that cost 100 ringgit in January 2020 cost 106 ringgit 37 cents in May 2023. Now this figure itself is a bit unrealistic because during the start of the pandemic itself until now, I'm sure you guys will think that, hey, is inflation only just 6%? I feel that it's more than 6%, yeah. For me, I think it's at least 20 to 30%. But anyway, whereas a basket of goods and services that cost 100 ringgit in January 2000, over 2 decades ago, costs over 60% more right now, 161 ringgit 47 cents in January 2023. Now, this seems more realistic, okay? If you take a look at prices 20, 30 years ago, right now it's simply just absurd, lah, okay? Minimum current wage, so it's 1,500 ringgit per month. It's still honestly extremely low. I don't understand why the government doesn't want to increase it, because Bank Negara Malaysia's recommended living wage is almost twice that amount at 2,700 ringgit. Okay. And if you take a look at Malaysia's salaries and wage report in 2021 by the Department of Statistics Malaysia at Dawson, the median salary, now this figure is extremely important, is 2,250 ringgit, in 2021. So in other words, right, 50% of the population earn less than this amount, while the remaining 50% earn more than this amount. So it's kind of worrying, because you have over 50% of the population earning much lesser than Bank Negara Malaysia's recommended living wage per month. Okay, and take a look at a recent study conducted by Belanjawanku, which is also, funnily enough, supported by EPF. So on the one hand, EPF is saying that, hey, you retire 1,000 ringgit per month is enough. But let me do another study. Let me support this study. This study itself, if you are a single public transport user, this is assuming that you're a youngster, okay, you require almost 2K per month. Okay, and if you're a car owner, your monthly expenses jump by 35% to 2,600 ringgit. Now let's talk about the elder generation, the older generation, the retirees, right? Okay, so senior couples, they require 3.2K per month. Fortunately, this figure can be divided to two people. So each people require about 1.6K per month. Single retirees, they require 2.5K per month. So obviously, the 240,000 ringgit, which leads to 1,000 ringgit per month for the next 20 years, is less than 2 times the amount recommended by this study itself. Okay, and it is certainly not enough to retire. And to make matters worse, right, less than 2 in 10 of members, they have achieved this target as of May 2023. Okay, and in February, Deputy Finance Minister revealed that the median EPF savings of Malaysians fell by 50% in 2022 to 8,100 ringgit. Yeah, obviously no thanks to the 4 pandemic withdrawals approved by the government. Okay, and this figure means that 50% of members, they have less than 8,100 ringgit in their EPF accounts. Malays, they had 17,000 ringgit as of April 2020. They are now left with only 5,500 ringgit. Now, I understand a lot of Malays during the pandemic itself, they withdrew from their EPF and they invested in gold. Yeah, so that's entirely fine because gold is also a form of investment and it's going back up in price right now. I'm sure if you invest during the pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, you are earning quite well right now. But I heard of some people who withdrew from EPF just to buy handbags, cars, so on and so forth. And that is precisely the worrying part over here, okay? Which is why EPF, they recently decided to propose to halt lump sum withdrawals. Okay, and a lot of people made quite a big hoo-ha saying that it's my money, I decide what I want to do with my money. And then EPF later clarified that, hey, this is only proposed, plus it will only be implemented for those who are born 2010 onwards. Then they come out and say that, hey, if you delay your EPF withdrawal by 10 years, it will yield an additional 80% returns. With compound interest, savings of 600,000 ringgit by the age of 55 will almost double to 1.07 million by the age of 65. Okay, so I decided to write a bit more about this article itself, and I got quite a bit of backlash. Okay, so people are saying that, or you just withdraw at 55, spend the money while you can, 65, entah dapat penyakit apa pula lepas tu. Oh, I'm gonna die. Imagine dying by 65. Oh, it's my money, not yours. You want to delay yours? Go ahead. Give me what's mine. Okay. And then some of them say that it's Anwar's fault. Anwar wants more money for EPF. And then after that, majority of people say me 10 years after my retirement year, I will probably pass away already. So my thoughts on these feedback, right, is that first of all, I'll help you touch wood first, okay? Touch wood. I hope that all of you will live fulfilling and long lives. Secondly, we must understand that Malaysia's life expectancy is only forecasted to increase. So in 2022, Malaysians on average, they are expected to live until the age of 73.1. Okay, so female 75.6, male 70.8. And this figure is honestly a lot higher compared to the uh, life expectancy of 47 in 1950. Okay, and if you look at the chart, right, it's only growing higher and higher because medical advancement is expected to grow exponentially, right? If one lives past 60 today, one is expected to live another almost 20 years to 78.7 on average. If you live past 65, statistics show that you're likely to live another 15 years to 80 years old. Okay, and personally, I have a grandma. She's currently 97 years old. Okay, and according to Dawson, Malaysian Chinese women, they tend to live the longest up to 80 years old. Second and third place comes in at other Bumiputra women as well as Malay women. Yeah, on average, they're expected to live up to 75 years old. So imagine by the age of 55 to 65, you already depleted your savings already. Yeah. What if you continue to live another 10 years? Yeah, a lot of people say that, oh, the future is uncertain, which is why I don't know whether I can spend the money or not. For me, I look at it this way. The future is uncertain, which is precisely why we must plan for it. Okay? Don't look at what if I pass away at 65. Look at what if I continue to survive after 65? What then? Because at the age of 65, you no longer have the capability to convert time into money. Right now, we are still young, right? We are like 20, 30 years old. We still have the capability to go out and work, go out and sacrifice ourselves and convert time into money. But when you are 55, 65, or even 75, all the health problems start to come in. How then are you going to convert your time into money, right? Okay, so do go and ponder about it, guys. So power of compounding savings, just a few things for you guys to understand over here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% dividend from EPF. And here's the duration it will take to double your savings. So 5%, 14.4 years, you'll double your savings. 6%, 12 years. 7%, 10.3 years. Okay. And the depletion of savings, so almost 1 in 10 EPF members, when they reach 55, right, they can make lump sum withdrawals, right? They completely deplete all of their savings already. Okay, 2 in 10 people, when they are 60, they have no more savings left. Okay, so yeah, another calculation over here, just a quick one. Number of years to save and invest to 240,000 ringgit, which is the basic savings target, which again, less than 2 in 10 people have it, which is also completely not enough to retire. But anyway, if you have 30 years, this amount is certainly very achievable. Okay, it's much lesser compared to achieving 100,000 ringgit by 35. Okay, so just a quick one, how to voluntarily contribute to EPF. I think majority of you guys know already. Download the iAccount app and then log into your KWSP account. Within the homepage itself, you will see Tamba Charaman, and then you just follow the steps. The minimum contribution is 10 ringgit. Okay, and this is not a monthly requirement. It doesn't mean that, okay, let's say this month I contributed 100 ringgit already. Does it automatically deduct from my bank account the next month or not? No, it's a one-off thing. Okay, so let's say this month you can afford 100 ringgit, then next month your budget is a bit tight, you cannot contribute anymore. That's entirely fine. The following month, if you feel comfortable to contribute 200 ringgit, yeah, you can go and repeat the same process. Okay. So the other thing on why I need to mention on why 100,000 ringgit is so important by the age of 35 is because it really sets you up for a very comfortable retirement. Okay, so I will send this link to you guys later. This compound interest calculator, you can key in all your different parameters. Okay, so let's say by the age of 35, you already have 100K. So let's put in 100K over here. Okay, make sure the right amount of zeros. The monthly contribution you still maintain at 600 ringgit per month. Okay, which is I didn't factor in salary increments plus bonuses plus your voluntary contribution also. Let's just stick to this initial figure over here. Yeah, the salary 2.4K per month, you maintain it at roughly 600 ringgit per month. Okay, so 600 ringgit. Length of time in years. So since you'll be retiring at 55, you can lump sum withdraw at 55. So 55 minus 35, that's 20 years, right? Estimated interest rate, we put it at 5%. Even though EPF's average interest rate in the past 14 years is 6%, we want to be a bit conservative. We just put it at 5%. Interest rate variance, 0, compound frequency annually. Then we just press calculate. Yeah. And in 20 years, you have 500,000 ringgit, which is over twice the amount that EPF is currently recommending to you. Okay, so this is why reaching 100,000 by the age of 35 is so important. And I didn't even factor in salary increment, bonuses, etc., etc. But at the same time, I also didn't put in inflation. Okay, because if I were to consider so many factors, right, then there's definitely a lot of arguments already. Hey, what about this figure, my last year's salary increment is 2%, etc., etc. And then let me just leave it to you guys to go and put in the parameters yourself, and you can calculate the figures yourself. Okay, so I put it at the general chat. Yeah, so I think that's about it for tonight's session. I just wanted to really just hammer it into you guys that, although you guys are young, retirement is still far away. Planning for retirement is never too late. Okay, for me personally, my strategy is just to hit the minimum contribution required. Okay, so let's say my employer currently is contributing about 600 ringgit per month, and I want to reach like maybe 150,000. Then I just key in my parameters over here in this calculator over here, and then I just top up the difference every month. Okay, and at some months, if my budget is a bit tight, I cannot save that much, then I just omit it entirely. Okay, so that will again set you up for a comfortable retirement. Okay, guys, good night. See you guys in the next one. Bye.